Hey folks, how's it going? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review, and today we're taking a look at the latest Hasbro Marvel Legends Spider-Man action figure in this 2-pack with the animated series Vulture. There has been a lot of discussion surrounding this Marvel Legends Spidey, and I definitely want to throw my thoughts into the mix on this video right here up on the channel. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments section below, and let's just jump right into it. We get this VHS style packaging. I've only taken a look at one other VHS style figure here on the channel, and that was the Cyclops X-Men VHS figure. I really liked it. I really like this style of box. It's definitely reminiscent of those old animated series videos, and I definitely had a couple of them growing up, so I really do like this style of packaging, especially when the images at the front are as cool as this one right here. We get the Spider-Man logo up at the top as well. On this side of the box we get some cool artwork, and on this side is where we get the video style replica there, and here is the back of the box as well. Not any write-ups at all, but we get two pictures of the figures inside, and with that being said, let's get these figures out of the box. So first off, let's take a closer look at the accessories and interchangeable parts that come with our new Marvel Legends Spidey figure. First of all, we get this Flash Thompson head sculpt, and I'm of two minds here. Like, it's really cool that we get this added head sculpt with our Spider-Man figure, but it's a bit random, right? Like, I asked some friends on Instagram because I couldn't really remember, and apparently there is an episode where Flash is dressed up as Spidey. It makes sense, of course, Flash being a big Spidey fan. I'm guessing it's Halloween, he's dressed up as Spider-Man, but is it really an essential head sculpt to include? I don't know. I'm not going to complain. It's something extra and it looks good. I think this could pass as a generic character when you're using these figures for figure photography. You could definitely do some body swaps with this, and it could pass off as a really casual sort of person in the background. It's sculpted nicely. I think the colours of the face is something I'm going to get to when we check out this Peter Parker head sculpt. This, of course, is a reuse. We got a Peter Parker VHS figure in the past, and one of my favourite things about that figure was this head sculpt. I didn't actually pick the figure up myself. Didn't really feel like it was an essential pickup for me, but I did really like the look of this Peter Parker. And so I'm really happy that I held off and I've finally got this sculpt with a new Spider-Man figure. But it just doesn't look quite as good as that initial head sculpt release on the Peter Parker body. I think the paint is just a bit off here. He looks really gaunt to the point that he looks a wee bit ill in my opinion. I mean, the cheekbones are really sucked in there and you can see that, which is fine if he wasn't so pale, and there's something about the eyes there as well that, I don't know, it's not bad, it is cool. I do like the look of this, but when you compare it to that initial release, there's something about this one that doesn't translate as well, in my eyes anyway. Let me know if you agree down below. Something that I definitely think is really cool and has definitely been a long time coming from Hasbro is this unmasked mask accessory that you can hold in his hand. We have one of these grabby hands here, so we get two grabbing hands, and I guess you could port this in a few different ways. I think that looks the best for sure. And I think this is a really cool inclusion from Hasbro here. It's something we've seen with the Figuarts and the Mayfix Spideys in the past, and so it's about time Marvel Legends gave us their version here, and I think it works pretty well. This looks like a good mask to me. The wee dip obviously helps his hand hold it. The lenses look really good here. I think it's a good size overall, and so this is definitely something I'm pretty stoked on here with our new Spidey. But I'm definitely let down when it comes to the interchangeable hands. We get two grabbing / holding hands, pretty good for the mask accessory here. We then get two clobbering time hands, and these are going to do the trick. Definitely look like some standard fisted hands for Spidey. And then on the figure itself we get tooth whipping hands. Now that's all really good, but we do not get any wall crawling hands for this Spider-Man figure, and it is crazy that Hasbro are still giving us these great looking Spider-Man figures and not giving us wall crawling hands. In the past, with the likes of the PS5 Spider-Man, we were getting single hands, so instead of pairs we were just getting one hand to go into one of the ports in the arms. With this figure, I feel like there's not really much point in getting two holding hands when there's only one mask accessory. Give us one of these and one wall crawling hand, like two wall crawling hands, come on. Like, again, it's like something cool from Hasbro, but then of course they go and ruin it by something like that. I don't think wall crawling hands are too much to ask for here. But taking a look at the figure itself, instantly I'm disappointed, because what is going on in the head sculpt? It is so warped in that corner. He has the most Chad jawline I have ever seen in my life. And it's, again, so typical of Hasbro. I was really looking forward to this figure. Every other figure I've seen on Instagram looks top notch, and then I get this wicked warped jawline here. I'm going to need to blast this with a hairdryer and hope for the best. There was also some like white paint smudged over onto the mask. I managed to kind of scrape that off with my nail, but that is definitely a wee bit of a problem for me. The rest, however, looks so good. I think I was maybe the only one in the past who wasn't a fan of this head sculpt on this animated Spidey. Again, I don't think it's bad, but there's something about it that looks a bit off to me. I think it's maybe sculpted just a bit non-human like, and I get that it's an animated show. Again, I don't think it's bad, it's just there's something about it to me that doesn't seem quite right, maybe a bit too misshapen. And apart from the Chad jawline here, this looks like the perfect upgrade in my eyes. This captures the animated Spidey so well, but at the same time looks pretty human in comparison to the last one. And again, I would love to know your guys' thoughts on these head sculpts here, because again, I think I was the only one who wasn't really a fan of this head sculpt overall. On this new one though, I think they have absolutely nailed it. It definitely looks a lot more like the animated series in my eyes on this new one, and I was happy to get this version of the animated series Spidey for that reason. But oh, that is so, like, look at that angle. Ah man, I'm gonna need to borrow my sister's hairdryer. And then when we look at the rest of the body, I think of course a lot of the discussion comes from it being an outdated mold. I, for one, really like the Sunfire body mold. I can't remember if we took a look at Webman here on the channel, but this character of Spidey shares the Sunfire mold with our new one. We can see we've got the same peg in the back. And even though I agree that this is sort of outdated, it is definitely not holding up when it comes to the articulation, comparing it to the AF-15 body mold or even the Renew Your Vows body mold. I think with this new updated like chest movement with the ab crunch is really a game changer for Marvel Legends Spidey figures. And so it does feel a bit odd going back to the Sunfire body mold, but for me, I do really like the look of this body mold. It is definitely a lot more muscular and chiseled compared to the AF-15 mold. And for that reason, I do think this is a great look to Spidey. Webman is a figure I had a lot of fun posing around with. I really like the muscular sculpt here. And when I first got Webman, I really wanted a more classic style Spidey on that body mold. And so here we have it. But of course, we do get a bit of a different system when it comes to the range of movement here. We get this older waist swivel, and of course I think I agree with everyone else that the new updated range of movement is the preferred one for Spidey, but I'm definitely not disappointed to get this classic look to Spider-Man on this body mold. And so I agree and I disagree. I think it is a bit of a weird choice that they have went for this older body mold, but personally I'm a fan. I really am. I think this is a really cool look to Spidey. I think it works well, and even though the articulation is outdated, you can still get this guy into some really cool poses. The one thing I will say though is it's hard to see on camera, but the paint in the chest area and the overall body is a lot darker compared to the rest. You can sort of see it here on the back. The arms and the head sculpt are a lot brighter when it comes to that red. Even in the feet, it is really noticeable for me in person. I'm not sure how well that's going to pick up on camera, but again, another downfall to this figure. So far I've got a warped head sculpt, no wall crawling hands, outdated articulation that personally I don't really care about. Again, I'm a big fan of this body mold, and this time around it is pinless. But yeah, the paint is a wee bit off when I'm looking at it here. Again, just very dark in the chest and body area. I do really like how that chest logo looks though, very accurate to the animated series Spidey. Again, pinless in the knees, no toe articulation. Again, maybe I'm a bit different to a lot of other people, but I don't really care about toe articulation too much. It's nice when we get it, but I'm not bothered when we don't. And the back of the figure here, of course, I've said this with many other figures, I don't like having the peg holes too much, but it's not that bothersome here. And to be expected with this mold, but I feel like if we're going pinless, we probably could have covered that up, right? You can see as well, actually, there's some web lines missing there, but not too bothered. And you can see, as per usual with these pinless joints, that area in the elbow there is also a bit of a different colour, but I think that's to be expected. I was just surprised when I seen how dark the body was compared to everywhere else. So yeah, overall, I really like this Spidey. I'm going to like it even more when I fix that warped jawline. And then to take a closer look at our new Marvel Legends Vulture figure, I'll be honest, I can't quite remember this version of Vulture in the series. It's been a while since I've watched the animated show, and yeah, I don't really have any recollection of this character, unfortunately. But he looks pretty incredible. I am really happy with this new Vulture from Marvel Legends. The only other Vulture figure I have in the collection is this much more comic styled, this wasn't even a retro card, I was going to say retro carded Vulture, and the head sculpt is really nice here. I like the feathered neck, but there's not too much going on in the body. This is the pizza body mold, which if you want to talk about an outdated body mold at this point, this is it right here. And so I definitely feel like a new Vulture is to be desired, and this looks the part. I do really like the colours used here. It makes the figure pop so incredibly well. We've got some holsters not only on the chest here but on the leg, and yeah, I think this is a really cool Vulture. I don't quite remember this sort of head sculpt. Vulture for me is always a bald guy, but Marvel Legends has us covered here because we get this alternative head sculpt, and it looks pretty great. We get the bald head up here, and that face sculpt is looking pretty gnarly. He looks pretty mean, and definitely similar to that previous Vulture I just showed off there. And again, maybe the skin tone is a bit weird here, but I like it overall. And then we get to interchangeable hands as well, with these clobbering time hands, with this very like marbled lime green that we see throughout the figure. Of course, as it's Vulture, we get these wings for our new Marvel Legends, so I'm going to port these on just now. So the wings just port on to the back of the arms. There's two parts, this top bit and the bottom bit. And although it looks absolutely epic here, again, I really like the colours used, it is a bit fidgety porting them on, especially when you go to pose this guy around. These shoulder pads definitely get in the way. These are going to pop off, and so it will take some getting used to, some playing around, but we'll get there. I think it looks absolutely spectacular here. I can't wait to pose this Vulture next to our new Spidey. Again, I really like the holsters. The colours of this is the best, man. Like, the best bit about this figure are these vibrant greens and yellows. It really takes what could be a kind of boring figure and puts it to the next level. Again, I'm a big fan of this upgraded Vulture. Not too sure what body mold this one is on. We obviously have these sculpted Vulture parts in the chest going up onto the shoulders. It looks kind of similar to our Sunfire mold, especially in the leg area here. Swapping that head sculpt over and adding our new Vulture into the Marvel Legends Spider-Man villain gallery here, we've got the retro carded Sandman and retro carded Shocker next to our latest Venom Marvel Legends figure, and I think he fits in really well. I think the colours are definitely a lot more vibrant to some of these figures, but that is because we're going for the animated series look, and I don't think it looks too out of place either, but definitely noteworthy when you can see these sort of darker dull greens and browns next to this lime vibrant bright green and yellow. And then to see how our latest Marvel Legends Spidey compared to the same Marvel Legends villains here, I think he's holding up really well. I'm liking how tall he's standing compared to these other guys. Proportions work well. Again, I like this muscular sculpt. Still a fan of this Spidey. And then here we have our new Sunfire body molded Spidey in the middle next to two Renew Your Vows body molded Spider-Man figures. We've got the Renew Your Vows original with the Ben Reilly head sculpt on the left and the retro carded Scarlet Spider here on the right. And although I do think the sculpt holds up in this vanilla pose next to these two, again I really like the muscular defined sculpt of the Sunfire body mold. It's hard to deny that the Renew Your Vows articulation is preferable, and again it's a weird choice perhaps from Hasbro, but this is still a valid sculpt. I don't know, I get why folk are a bit apprehensive about getting a Sunfire body molded Spidey at this point in Marvel Legends, I want to say history, but I don't know, I think it's valid. But it's hard to deny that the range of movement on the Renew Your Vows is superior. And then the same can be said when you put this thing up against the AF15 body mold, of course with the last animated Spidey on the left and the AF15 on the right here. I will say I don't think that this animated Spidey would suit the AF15 body mold. For me, they would need to retool the AF15 and make him more muscular, more defined like the Sunfire here, but using the range of movement of the AF15, and I really do think that that is what Marvel Legends will do eventually. I think in the next couple years we will get another Spidey with a combination of these two body molds, because that's what Marvel Legends do. They release figure after figure with these slight upgrades that keep people like me buying them. And so there we have it for our new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Animated Series 2 pack. And for the price point, I'm a lot of mixed feelings going on here. I do really like this Spider-Man, but I feel like it's maybe just a couple years too late. We should have got that around the same time as Webman here, and of course we do have more updated range of articulation when it comes to these Spider-Man Marvel Legends figures, and so to go back to the Sunfire body mold does feel weird, but again, I am a fan of this body mold and I do like having a more standard looking Spidey on it, but then it lacks when it comes to the things that we need on a Spider-Man figure. Like, awesome, we get this mask accessory, but where are the wall crawling hands? Of course I do have some warpage on the head, but it can be fixed. Vulture is a really cool figure. Of course it does have the same sort of fidgety problems that the last Vulture figure had, but for me the look of him overall does really win me over. I think the colours here are excellent. It is going to take a bit of getting used to posing this guy around, but he looks the part and I am really happy with that. I think it is a good character to include with our latest Marvel Legends Spidey here, which is of course the main reason that I picked this 2-pack up, and so I do feel like this Vulture figure is definitely a really welcomed bonus to go with our Spidey. But again, at that price point, I think this one is for the fans, the ones that are going to be picking up every bloody Spider-Man Marvel Legends figure out there. Like me, I really need to stop, but I can't help it. Spidey is the best and I do have a lot of fun with these Marvel Legends. So here we are. £50 I think is definitely a bit of a stretch, but I'm not too disappointed. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. While you're down there guys, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, then please hit that subscribe button. I'll leave the link to my Instagram down in the description below, where I'll definitely be posting a lot of pictures of these figures up on over there. It'd mean a lot if you could check it out. It means a lot that you've watched this video right here guys, so thank you so much for watching. Feel free to hop on over to the channel page, check out any of my other videos, but until next time guys, I'll catch yous on the flip-flop later. Cheers.